Jamaican Emily Mayne has made her debut in a pro tournament after recently competing in the Hartford Healthcare Women's Championship on the Epsom Tour in the United States. The Epsom Tour is a feeder to the Ladies Professional Golf Association, the LPGA. Mayne was awarded the spot after capturing the individual title at the National Collegiate Golf Championships in Texas, representing Howard University.
Mayne's two-day total of 151, having scored 75-76, saw her miss the cut at Great River Golf Club in Milford, Connecticut.
I played well the first day. I just missed a couple putts. In terms of fairways, greens, I think I was pretty solid. The pin positions were obviously set up for a professional tournament, and the greens, they weren't tricky, but they had a lot of slopes, so you really had to know where to miss and where you wanted your target to be on the green. And I struggled with that a little bit on the first day, so I left myself in some situations where if I three-putt, I couldn't have been too mad at myself. So yeah, first day I shot 3 over, and then the second day we actually had a very bad rain delay. My tee time was supposed to be at 1:58 p.m. and it ended up being at 5:58 p.m. So I had to wait the entire day, like waiting to go to the golf course. Eventually got to get there, and I actually, as I said, I didn't tee off till like 6 p.m. We only got 7 holes in, so it was kind of hard to focus, I would say, in those 7 holes, just because I knew I wasn't going to get much golf done, and I knew that the next day I was going to have to show up probably one of the earliest on the golf course, as I was like the 4th to last group on the second day. So showed up on the third day now, bright and early, the first tee time. We showed up at, I think, around 5:30 a.m. to the golf course and got out there. I played very solid golf on that day. I was actually 1 under until my last hole, where I had a double, but nevertheless I was actually very proud of myself for being able to hold it down on the last day, as I was 3 over through 7 on the first day where we had the rain delay, and I finished 4 over for that round. So yeah, I was proud of myself. Just because seeing how some of the other people there played who were pros, and some of them didn't even break 80 on some days. So it was, I would say, I was proud of myself for it.
One of the highlights was seeing the black, green and gold flying.
I showed up to the golf course, and the first thing I noticed was that they had added the Jamaican flag around the practice green, which was not there the earlier days where I was there to practice. So obviously my parents, were like, oh, we need the Jamaican flag, and as we got there for the first day, the flag was up there waving high, and it's a surreal moment for me, as being like the only Jamaican to be on the Epsom Tour at that point, because they actually had to order a new flag for me to get when I got there.
What did you notice playing with the pros, and what advice did they offer?
I would say they're very strategic in the way that they play the golf course. So I've always said that was my goal going into the tournament. Like, I'm not necessarily trying to hit it the longest or be the most aggressive. I'm trying to leave myself in a position where I'm not going to make a really high number. And that was definitely what I noticed. The pros, it's not even like they're making like really low scores on holes. They're just lowering the chances of them making a high number, which will obviously result in them shooting low scores. So yeah, they really just had pars and a couple birdies, and that really is what they do, and they make sure they're not putting themselves in a position to blow up. So obviously going into tournaments, you have to practice overall, like practice on all areas of your game, but they really told me to focus on areas of the game that are weak, obviously focus more on that. But then when you're going into the tournament, to not really try to get yourself down in terms of if you put yourself in a bad position on the golf course, you're not good at chipping, try to get that out of your head from you've gotten to the golf course. That's no longer your weak part of your game. You've worked on it, you practice it, you've done all you can to get better. So when you get there and you have, say, the first hole, we have a chip shot, and you've been working on it, just focus on what you've been working on, not, 2 weeks ago, chipping wasn't my strongest.
Based on this experience, How likely would it be to enter another pro event?
It was definitely a fun experience, and if I was to get the opportunity again, I would definitely take it. Just because it was honestly really nice to talk to them and just see how they feel about golf and traveling and what they have to do throughout the year to get into certain tournaments, and just their goals for getting onto obviously the LPGA Tour and how many points they have to earn and stuff like that. I don't actually have any aspirations of going pro.
Okay, all right.
But it was definitely a great experience, and I think it can definitely help me with my next 3 years that I have at college to get better.
How has it prepared you for your upcoming golf season with Howard and all other tournaments?
It's prepping me in terms of it's making me like not focus more on negative things. So usually in my round, like it's hard to focus on the positive sometimes when stuff goes bad. But I noticed playing with a lot of the pros, and especially the two girls that I played with on the 2 days, because you played with the same two people. So I got to really know them better, and just to hear like just some of the advice that they had, and just like certain things where going into a tournament, like make sure you know you've done all the prep you can, and then when you get there, you can't be too nervous because you know you've done all you can to perform the best.
Angela Melville, CVM Sports.